Hello, hello, hello. Let's give y'all time to get in. Good to see you guys here tonight. Uh, Excited about today. Uh, Last week we had a good study. Today I want to deal with some. Uh, of course, you already saw the topic dealing with disappointment. Well, let me put the title up so you got. I think is a huge thing that everybody deals with. Uh, Nobody's exempt from disappointment. Matter of fact, no matter how great the people are in your life and things are in your life and your situation, good or bad, you gonna have some disappointment. If you're an adult and you say you didn't have disappointment, I want to know what world you live in and what the people that you dealing with. I need your friends and your family because it's inevitable. You're gonna be disappointed, but disappointment hurts. I know. To be honest with you, my personal life, disappointment is one of the biggest hurts and pains in my life. I had been through some of the things that other people have been through, but I think, um, hey Sandra and Patty, um, disappointment, man, did a number on me, and I think it stifled me in a lot of ways. And I think I'm still overcoming some of those things. And I think I react to things sometimes in life based upon my past disappointment. And I know I'm not the only one, but it's true. And but what I've found out in my life, some things are inevitable and they're going to happen, but you can minimize the pain. You can minimize the effect of things. uh, it's like, when a hurricane comes, you can't stop the hurricane, but you can board up your house. You can do some things to minimize the effects of what the hurricane would have done if you hadn't prepared yourself. There's some preventive things. There's some things that you can do in your life to minimize things from happening. Sometimes you could totally keep it from coming at all. With disappointment, I don't. That's not going to happen most of the time. But a lot of times you can prevent things. It can be preventative. And I think if we start using our utilizing and looking at our lives to prevent things versus always being defensive about things, or being closed-minded or closed-hearted towards people and things, and miss out on the blessings of God. I think we need to keep our hearts open and keep our minds open, but just begin to practice preventive measures in our life, and manage our expectations. So I want to talk about this because disappointment, man, is real, and we're disappointed by our mother, our father, our spouse, and it's something that we've dealt with all of our life as children and into our adulthood. And at some point, we got to stop sitting here like saying disappointment don't come to my house, don't come near me, and praying and rebuking it because it's gonna come. But I truly believe that we set ourselves up for it most of the time. It's not so much what other people are doing; it's our mindset and our perspective that disappoints us. I tell people all the time, man, when the dog barks, nobody turns around. They might turn around, but they're not shocked. They're just trying to see where the dog is at, so they won't get bit. But nobody's shocked when a cat meows. You know why? Because a cat's supposed to meow, and when a cat meows, then we know that that's normal for a cat. Now, if I meow, then there's an issue going on. Y'all need to take me and strap my hands and feet together and see what's wrong with me, because I'm not supposed to be meowing. I'm supposed to be barking. I don't supposed to be roaring like a lion because I'm a human being, and that's not normal for a human being. So what I'm saying is is we sometimes are disappointed because we act like we shocked by things that's normal for that particular thing. Even when people act a fool, if we've identified somebody as a fool and they act a fool, then what's shocking about that? Like, sometimes people do things like, yeah, that's ridiculous, that's crazy, but I knew they were crazy before they did it, so I'm not shocked, and it becomes norm because that's what I expect out of them. And I altered my expectation because I said I can't treat a fool like somebody that's sane. I can't treat somebody that's prideful like they're humble and expect them to respond like a humble person. I can't expect them to respond certain ways when I've identified them and classified them as a certain thing and they've showed themselves to be a certain thing, or whatever. We got to understand that. And so anyway, let's get into this. You know, uh, but expectation is a big thing, and I want to that's gonna be my first point. Uh, I think I've done a study about expectation before, But I think this is the biggest part of disappointment. A large percentage for everybody, I think, is based upon us not managing our expectations. So the first thing I want to talk about is never put your expectations in the potential of a person, place, or thing, but the character and reliability of it. John 14, 1 through 3. And when I read this scripture, you were like, how could the disciples be disappointed in Jesus when Jesus never made any mistakes, when Jesus never came short of his word, yet they still were disappointed? Was there a problem with Jesus? Did Jesus come up short somewhere? Of course he did, but there was a disappointment that happened. And so we got to look at these things and see where did that disappointment come from. And when it happens in our lives, we have to pay attention to it and know how to deal with that and know how to manage it and navigate our way through that. And sometimes we can't prevent it, but we can manage it, and we can deal with it where it doesn't impact our lives in such a negative way. Okay, so look, never put your expectations in the potential of a person. Potential is what it is. It's potential, but you got to focus on the reliability, on the character of a thing. Like I think I said this last week. If I jump in my bed every night and it holds me up and I don't fall and hit the floor, then the more I do that, the more faith that I'm going to put in that bed. And and after a while, I classify that bed as a reliable bed, or I classify that chair that I sit in as a reliable chair. I sit in this chair every week when I do this live, and I never think about is it going to collapse. I never think about am I going to fall face first while I'm in the middle of the study, because it's held me up. I hadn't had any faults with the chair. It's not a perfect chair, but the chair hasn't failed me. So as I go along, I expect this chair to hold me up. There's an expectation in it. And so the day I get in this chair and I fall face first, I'm gonna be disappointed. I'm like, I'm throwing this chair out right now. I'm going to buy me a new chair. And I'm gonna be upset and I'm gonna be disappointed because like, how could it embarrass me like that? How could it fall in the middle of my life? How could it not hold me up? I've been doing this live for I don't know how long, sitting in this chair, and it didn't hold me up. And so I get disappointed because of that. But and then I can't look at a chair and just say it's gonna hold me up when I've never sat in it. Just because it looks good, just like a car could look good, but under the hood, you could be on the side of the road. Many times I'm riding, I'm like, man, why is that BMW? That car looks so nice. Why are they pulled over on the side of the road with their hazard lights on? Why is it breaking down? That car looks too good. That car looks new. Why is it breaking down? And I'm sure the person in the car is disappointed because they paid a lot of money for that car, and yet it still broke down on them, and they're disappointed. So after a while, it doesn't matter if it has BMW on it or Hyundai on it. If it's not reliable, then I have to make a change. I can't put my expectation in things that's not reliable, things that are not, and people that don't have character. Because we can all talk, we can all say things, but sometimes it takes time for us to, and we're gonna talk about that too. It takes time for things to manifest the true essence of who they are, and that can be good and bad. Sometimes you gotta wait it out to see the goodness of people and things. It ain't gonna always happen instantly, and then sometimes you gotta wait it out to see the bad side of things and people, places, and things. It don't just happen right off your first encounter. You just got to give it time. And I think because we live in a microwave society, we don't give stuff time. Time is something, man. Time will teach you some things. Time will save your life and save some things in your life. And that's why the Bible tells us, let patience have its perfect work. And we gonna get to that. Let me do this first point. I already talked about it. I'm sorry, I did first. Never put your expectations in the potential of a person, place, or thing, but the character and reliability of it. John 14, 1 through 3. Let me read that. That's where we are. It says, everybody's heard this scripture. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. Why do you read that, Lorenzo? Because at that point in time, the disciples were disappointed in Jesus because he was leaving them, and they were sad. They had walked with him. They had saw him perform miracles. He taught them things, and they did a lot of things with Jesus. So they were very disappointed when Jesus said, "I'm going away." They didn't know nothing about this Holy Spirit he was talking about. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna leave you comfortless and all those things. But he said, let not your heart be troubled, or don't be disappointed. If you believe in God, believe also in me. Meaning, there's no difference. I was Jesus on earth, and I had the capability that I have here, that I had on earth. If you believe in the God that sent me, you can still have that same power. That's what we said when the Holy Ghost will, you'll have that same power. Jesus said, I'll give you the same power or even more power the things I were able to do. You will do more works. You'll do exploits because he said, don't be disappointed or don't be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. So pretty much expectation. In fact, that means you have confidence in a thing, or you really believe in it. And it's disappointing when you believe in something and it fails you, and or not necessarily it failed you. You believed it failed you, because a lot of times the failure of a thing is an illusion that we have in our minds. It's like, did that thing necessarily fail me, or did I put too much expectation in it? It's like buying. Like, I order stuff and I don't want to bash Timo. Timo is a site where you buy stuff for ridiculous prices, $2, $3. I don't want to confuse something I bought from Timo with something that I bought from a value uh, uh, place that I paid more money for. That's more reliable. Why does a Rolex cost more than a Timex? Because it's more reliable. It went through a harder test, so the value of it is more. So I can't confuse. They both tell time, but you can't expect the Timex to last as long as a Rolex, because it's not on the same level. And so if I put Rolex expectation into a Timex watch, then what am I expect? What I'm expect from a watch I bought at the dollar store for $2, and the battery goes out in 2 weeks because I paid $2 for it. And so if I'm sitting here thinking this watch was supposed to last for 3 years, or this watch is supposed to last me a long time. I told people all the time, my first car was a Hyundai, and I was like, Hyundai is a good car. It's reliable. I had it for 11 years and could have had it longer if I had to do some things differently. But the thing is, I said the engines are great and stuff, but what separates the Hyundai or the car that I had from your BMW and from your Lexus and from the more expensive tier of cars, uh, is the small things in the parts. Like, you have a Hyundai, 11 years, you're supposed to open the door and pull the latch, and the whole latch breaks because it's made out of a cheap plastic. It's not made out some of the small things in the car, and that's the difference between a luxury car and a base, small, cheaper car. And anything, not just the car, it's gonna be the quality of it. You can't expect you can't expect a T-shirt that you bought from somewhere reliable with a certain type of made out of certain type of fabric to last from a T-shirt that you bought out of the dollar store. There's 100% cotton, and when you bought it, it was a large, and when you washed it, now it's an extra small because because that was what it was. And so all I'm telling you is, don't put your expectations have to be managed. You have to be honest and face reality when you put your expectations in things. When I sit and make expectations and things, I think about it and I say, oh, now, how many times did this thing help me up? How many times did this thing worked and I used it? A lot of times I don't have to think about it. It's just my faith is built, and I trust in something because it's never let me down. Simply because it never let me down. That's why I trust in God. And I trust in Jesus, or whatever you want to call it, Jesus, God, Christianity. I trust in my faith and believe in my belief in God, because there's never a time He's let me down. He's reliable. God is a God of character, and that's what He's telling them. Don't trust in whether you think I'm going to help you, or I'm going to be there for you. He says, believe in God, believe me also. You got to believe in the character and in the core of who I am. And when you believe and trust in that, sometimes I don't understand God. Sometimes God don't seem fair. Sometimes God don't seem like a just God, a able God. But when I look at the core of who He is and what His motives are and how He deals with me and his desires for me, then I trust in that. I trust in the core of who He is. Sometimes you got to put your faith in when it comes to people, you got to put your faith in who you've seen them be, not in their potential. They might come through. They might do the right thing. They might say the right thing. They might be there for you. No, you can't put your expectation there, because you're going to be what? Disappointed every time. And even when people are reliable, man will let you down. That's why God says, man, that's why the psalmist said, my expectation is in God. My expectations. I put everything. I put all my stock in God. I think the pastor was preaching Sunday. He said that he's like all my stock, everything. I don't have no alternate. I didn't put my money in nothing else. I put everything. All my money is on him. I don't have no choice but to trust him. It's like when you bet on a game. Once you put every your stock on one team and you put your money. I'm not promoting gambling, but when you put your stock in one thing and you say I trust this thing, you got to sit there and say it's gonna come through, and you got to expect it. And you got to believe it. That's what he said. Believe in me. Believe in God and believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. Whatever I said to you and whatever I promised to you, haven't I always proven it true? Haven't I always did it? You know, haven't I always good to see you, man. I see you and I love you. It's so it's like haven't I did it every time? I had an expectation. I did when I acted a fool when I was a kid that my mom was gonna whip my butt. So I responded to who she was and how she dealt with me. And some things I didn't do because I knew what was gonna happen. My expectations were put in the right place. So I knew if I act up and act the fool and do the wrong thing, that I was gonna be disciplined for it. If I didn't think that, then maybe I would have responded another way and did whatever I wanted and got in a lot of trouble. But because I knew I was going to get disciplined, I was going to get corrected when I didn't do the right thing. There was a different thing because my expectations were in a certain place. And so it's all about your expectations. I know I spent a lot on that, but you got to get that. I think a lot of us are heartbroken because we put too much stock in people. I know they're nice. I know they're cute. I know they're talented. I know they're this. I know they've done this for you. They've done that. They make you feel a certain way. They do this. They do this. But at the end of the day, it the proof is in the pudding, and we got to be honest and say. And a lot of times, I help people adjust their expectations, even with me, and say, no, this is who I am, and I reveal who I am, so they can have reliable, not reliable, but healthy expectations of me, knowing my capabilities. And sometimes you can't figure it out, so you can even help other people not be disappointed in you when you tell them the truth about yourself. A lot of times, you know what I mean, you got to tell everything to everybody because you can't do that. But at the same time, you can help people have expectations on you by revealing certain things or by speaking certain things to them to help them understand the true essence of who you really are. And then they can say, oh, I can't expect that from him right now. Sometimes it's temporary. Sometimes people are broken in a place. You got to wait for them to be healed to perform a certain way. Sometimes that's frustrating. Sometimes it's like you do deserve better. But the truth of the matter, this is what you got. This is that's the situation you're in. And so instead of allowing that disappointment or that lack of whatever you need to just make you miserable, you gotta adjust. And that don't mean you lower your standard. I'm not talking about lowering the standard. I'm saying adjust your expectation. Saying this is what I expect out of this person, and I'm gonna expect something out of this person that they're able to maintain, that they're able to live up to. Stop putting people on their expectations that they're not able to live up to. And a lot of times, you know, you're right, Pat. Our disappointment is simply out of our decisions. We try to point it at other people. We try to point it at this and not that. And we got to sometimes admit, oh, I'm disappointed simply because I made the wrong decision, simply because I looked at this wrong, simply because I prejudged someone and I judged them the wrong way and I responded a certain way. You just got to admit that and keep it moving. And it'll keep you from feeling guilty. It'll keep you feeling regretful and all those different things. And that all those things are weights that hold you back from running the race that you're in. And so let's move from this, but I know you get it by now. I've talked about it long enough. So the second thing, hold on, let me move. And I was talking about this. I moved into this. I stood back from it because I knew it was a point I was going to make tonight. Give people and things time. Time is something. And that's like I said earlier. God says, man, let patience have its perfect work. Meaning you need to have patience in operation in your life all the time, even when things are good. Patience is something, man, that takes work. Because especially in the side that we live now, even people that are not so anxious and so quick to do things, we all just expect things to happen like this. That's just the nature of man. We want something to eat. We expect the plate to come in front of us in 20 seconds. You know, we go to the drive-through and we order. If they say the order we gotta wait, then we huffing and puffing. They might say wait 5 minutes, 4 minutes. And it was like, what is 4 minutes? Like, is this something you was gonna do so special in 4 minutes that you couldn't wait? And so a lot of times we just become anxious for no reason. The biggest thing people are anxious in, and especially in our area, is driving. I watch people sometimes just speed by people and jump in and out and be about to kill everybody just to end up at the same red light as everybody else because they just don't have no patience. They blowing their horn before the light just changed. They can't wait for somebody to even put their foot on the gas because we're so anxious. I know sometimes we're in a hurry. Sometimes we got to get to a place, but many times a lot of things happen to us in our life because we are just so impatient, and we all have a form of it. Impatience is not one of my big weaknesses, but we all want things when we want it, and that's just what it. I mean, just what it is. That's human nature. But at the same time, we gotta learn to wait. Sometimes waiting, you know, when we shop, we gotta have something right there. I'm the kind of person like, oh, that's gonna be on sale in another week. I'll go back by that store. I got so good with it. I think God just the God got involved. And a lot of times he'd be like, go look on this side or go with this gonna be on sale later. Don't buy that. And I know I'm being deep. I don't mean you gotta go in the store and have a prayer meeting just to go purchase something. If you work and make your money, you fine to go buy whatever you want to buy. But oftentimes, seriously, because I waited, the same thing that was $50 last week end up being $30 next week. I'll be scrolling on my Facebook page or doing something on the computer, and then a pop up will come. Oh, this is on sale, and then I can go buy it. And I've often got things at a lower price because of that, or got some sweet, great deals. Or sometimes I've been in the mall and I go in the store, I see something I like. The first store I go in, I'll be like, well, now sometimes I go to the extreme because sometimes it's a great deal and I'll be like, oh, I'll wait, and then I go back and it's gone. So there's a balance in that thing too. You can't be so wait on everything till you just become a procrastinator or you miss out on everything. Because sometimes you gotta know like, okay, this is the best I'm gonna get. But me, I'm always looking for a deal. But a lot of times I've been blessed because of my patience, and I'll be like, you know what, I'll go back out there. They'll have a better sale. They'll do this. They'll do that, and it happens a lot of times. And I'll be like, wow, look what happened. So give people and things time. You know, Nothing's gonna show you its true value or what it is the first time. Every shoe feels good when you just try it on real quick and take it off in the store. And you put them shoes on and go into a football game or go out somewhere where you got to do a lot of walking and your feet feel like they finna fall off because you thought they were comfortable, but give it time. No, I don't never test no. I don't never feel like I don't never say nothing about some shoes is comfortable or something feels good until I take it through a test. Let me go to work and work 8 hours and walk, and then my feet feel good at the end of the day. I was like, oh, these some comfortable shoes. They didn't been through the test, and that's what we got to do. You got to give people and things time. Everybody can be nice for 2 weeks, and you all up in their face, tell them all your business, and and cackling, and people might not be up to no good, but you didn't give it time. So I know some people, and no kids do it all the time. Every time they meet somebody that's nice or make them feel good, that's my friend. They are great. Now you don't know if they're a great person or not. Nobody as nice as they seem. I believe I'm one of the nicest people. I'm a nice person. I will say that I'm a good person, but I'm not as nice as I seem all the time. I have evil thoughts. I'm selfish sometimes. I got ways just like anybody else. Just give it time. I know you the evangelist, or you the prophet, and you sanctified filled with the Holy Ghost. Give it time. They'll cuss you out. Give it time. They'll show their true colors. And hopefully, sometimes people show their true colors. It's what you thought it was, and that's a good thing. But I guarantee you gonna have less of those than you gonna have other people that's gonna show you different because it takes time. And if you don't have patience in life and you don't know how to give people and things time, you're gonna be in trouble. Jeremiah, let me just read the scripture. I want you to see this. It says in Jeremiah 17:7-8, it says, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord and whose hope is in the Lord. So my hope and my trust is in nobody but the Lord, not in my mom, my daddy, and my sister, and my brothers, all the people that love me. I know it's people that love me. I know people that will come through for me. I know people that will be there for me in the thick and the thin. But at the same time, I can't put all of my hope in them. Only person I can put all of my hope in, all of my hope. I'm not talking about a part of my hope. I'm not talking about 20%, 30%, 40%. I'm talking about 100%. All my hope is in the Lord. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters. He said, when you put your expectation or your hope in God, that gives you stability. That gives you a sense of life where life doesn't feel so uncertain. Life doesn't feel sometimes like I don't know what's going to happen. The more that you put your hope and trust in the Lord, you'll find your life stabilizing. You'll find your life not being shaky all the time, up and down all the time, or different things happen. It brings stability. That's where you get stability from in your life. You get it from putting your hope. And people say, what does trust in the Lord mean? It means having a confidence in Him, saying, I don't care what it looks like. This is what God's going to do. This is what God said He was going to do, and this is what I expect, and nothing less. Which spreads out to his roots by the river and will not fear when heat comes. So it says, man, when you put your hope in the Lord, when that relationship or that your relationship with the Lord is tried, when the heat comes and all and it's bad weather and things are happening, he says his leaf will be green. You want consistency. It brings stability and consistency in your life when you put your hope in the Lord. A lot of your lives feel unstable. You feel like if you feel unstable all the time, if you feel shaky, that means you're not walking on Christ, the solid rock I stand. No other ground, all other ground is sinking sand. You're not building your life on God. Your foundation is not God, and so you're in trouble. And so your life feels like, oh, you ever got on something that up high or on a ride or on something you feel like it's not holding you up? My biggest thing, I took a military class in college and they wanted me to rappel off of this big, tall wall. And I was like, I'm not really scared of heights, but my problem was I had a hard time trusting that this rope was going to hold me up upside down, going down off of pretty much a cliff. It was repelling. I was like, it's not going to hold me up. I couldn't get that out of my mind. I didn't have the confidence enough in a rope to hold me upside down. All I could see in my head was me upside down and that rope breaking and my head just splattered on the ground. And then I'm gone forever to see Jesus. So when I got that out of my head and I put my confidence in something else and took my mind off of the uncertainty of the rope, and I got it off the uncertainty. See, some of us focus so much on the uncertainties and the things that we're not sure about. We don't put our mind on things that we are sure about. That's what about that's what I did. I think I did a study called "I Know What to Do When I Don't Know What to Do." What am I saying? I do know this. All things work together. That's what Paul said. I do know that. I don't always know what's happening in my life. I don't know. Sometimes I'm confused. Sometimes I don't know what to say. I don't know how to react. I don't know what to think about things. But one thing I do know, that all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord, the Bible says. But it brings stability when you put your hope in God. You feel planted. You feel like you don't feel like you're walking on air or you're walking on water. It spreads out of its root by the river and will not fear when heat comes. I'm not worried when the heat comes because what? I have stability. I have confidence in something that I know is not gonna fail me. It was 100 degrees today. It was hot. But I wasn't worried about it because guess what? My air in my car worked, my air in my house worked. And I knew if I can get in the house or in the car, I'm all right. And then I had a comfort because I know I don't have to stay outside. That I had a place to go to, that the air conditioner was blowing good. Because if I didn't today, I promise you it was hot. But its leaf will not be green and will not be anxious in the year of drought. So people can tell you what's not gonna happen. The TV will give all these headlines about what's about to happen. We finna go to war, this and that, blah 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 blah. The end of the world. You hear all kind of bad news, but you won't be anxious in the year of drought. When people say we don't have no more water, we don't have this, we don't have that, people panic. Like I said, I was a part of Hurricane Katrina, and people panicked. They said gas, they ain't no more gas. So people was going to the gas station. Folk were killing folks over a gallon of gas because they panicked and they didn't have their hope in God. They had their hope in, they was thinking about the hurricane and the situation that they were in. Versus, it says, "Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord." So if you not trusting in the Lord, you're gonna be disappointed. You're not gonna be a blessed man or woman. You're gonna be a depressed man or woman, oppressed man or woman, or something. You're gonna be something else, or angry man or woman, but you're not gonna be blessed. Not because God don't want to bless you, not because God didn't bless you, but because you're not trusting in the one that's able to bless you, the one that's able to keep you, the one that's able to hold you up, the one that's able to lift your head up high when you put your head down. Nor will cease, it says, nor will cease from yielding fruit. Meaning, no matter what circumstance you come, when you trust in God, He'll always be ready to perform. He'll always be ready. You know, they tell people, some people are picture ready. You say take a picture, they just go boom, they ready to take it. Some people say, I got to get myself together. Give me a mirror, give me this. Some people just picture ready all the time. You serve a God that's always picture ready. It's always ready to whatever situation is thrown at you in your life. Because what? He already knew was going to come before it came. He was already prepared. God is better than the weatherman. When it rains in your life, you think He didn't know it was going to rain? He knew in your life today you had an 80% chance of rain. He knew in your life it was going to thunder and it's going to be a thunderstorm today. It was going to be a tornado. He knew before it came. So he's already prepared because he saw it before you even knew it was coming. God is a better forecaster than a weatherman. And I know some weathermen don't forecast very well. But most of it, because they have models and they have things to use to predict the weather, they can predict the weather to some extent. But ultimately, God controls the weather. But you got to give things time, and you got to put your hope in God, and stop trusting in man. Stop trusting in other things. Man, we some trust in chariots. That's okay. You want to trust in a horse? You want to trust in something that's instant and think it's gonna last? It's not. The only thing that's gonna be eternal, and the only thing that's gonna last forever is what God gives you in your life and what God manifests in your life. And you've been blessed. You bless yourself, and you can bless yourself, but it's only temporary. Man can bless you, but it's only temporary. Only God can make something eternal. Only God can make the widow lady's pot never run out of oil. Only God can do those type things, not us. So stop having that Keith Sweat spirit that you can do things in your life and make it last forever. This ain't what that you can't make it last forever. Only God can make it last forever. And then you disappointed because it ran out. You disappointed because it broke your heart. You disappointed because it didn't do what you wanted to do. It wasn't made to do what you wanted to do. It wasn't made to sustain you forever. It was made for sometimes for a season of your life. God does use people to bless you, but ultimately God blesses you and makes things. He sustains your life. He maintains your life throughout the years, throughout time. He knows what you need. So you got to put your hope in Him. Put your trust in Him. That's what that means. It don't just mean, oh, I believe in God because He's supernatural, He's powerful, and that's who they told me to pray to. You got to get more personal with that thing and know that God is for you. If God be for you, could be against you. You got to know that He really wants what's best for you. You got to believe that. That's what trusting God is bigger than just trusting God. What does that mean? Because when it don't look like that, then you're gonna be like, He ain't God or He lied. And then you have disappointment and anger towards God and say that he didn't come through when that's not true. And you believe in Him for stuff that He didn't even tell you He was going to do. First of all, what are you believing in? What are the promises that you believing in that God never spoke because somebody else told you something, or one of the prophets prophesied to you and told you something, whatever, but it didn't come from God, and you sit there been expecting it forever, and it never came to pass. God never said it. So He's sitting there like, why are you blaming me for coming up short when it's something I never even spoke? It's an illusion in your own mind. Or somebody pumped you up to think something. It's just like some people people sing or have talents and do stuff. They went all their life thinking they could sing because people was telling them they could sing until they met the right person. And then somebody told them they couldn't sing. And then they're disappointed and their feelings are hurt. I was like, no, they didn't do you wrong. They helped you. Because what they did was they put you into reality where you can manage your expectation and understand that now, okay, you can play basketball, but you're not Michael Jordan. You're not LeBron James. You got to be honest. I do that with my kids. I tell my kids, I'm never gonna be negative. I'm your biggest cheerleader. But if you're doing something and you're not great at it, I got a responsibility not to put you in an illusion, not to get you into this thing where you think you're great at something that you're not great at. I'm not gonna sit there and hurt their feelings and say, "Oh, you horrible," or "You're not good." I'm not gonna do that to anybody. But at the same time, I have a responsibility to be honest with them because I don't want to alter their expectation. And now they're sitting there thinking, "Oh, I'm going to your child thinking they're going to the NBA, and they need to be looking working towards an MBA because they're gonna never make it pro because they're not good enough." I played basketball, but I didn't go through an illusion to think that I was going to the NBA. If I would have did that, I would have been disappointed. And I'm sitting there in the room like, what round of draft I'm going into, and they look up there. People don't even know my first or last name because they ain't even looking at me. And but I'm disappointed. And somebody did me wrong. No, I set myself up. So don't let people profit lie to you. That's my word, profit lie. Bad. People will profit lie to you, not prophesy. So you got to know the difference in a prophet lie and a prophecy. You know, you got to know when something comes from God. Okay, let me get these other last 2 points. I'm gonna be out, y'all. Here we go. Number 3, God never leaves a job undone. So you got to understand. And I'm gonna use my wife as example for this too. I know when she starts something, I don't care if hurricanes, whatever come, she's not gonna stop doing it until it's finished. Like one of the things is like it doesn't frustrate me anymore. We come in the house. I'm the kind of person I come in the house or come from work. I don't care what needs to be done. I'm about to sit down. I'm gonna watch if it's just 30 minutes of TV, unless it's an emergency, something that has to be done in the moment. I'm like, I need to get my head together and chill out for a minute. I'm tired or whatever. She could be dog tired, leg about to fall off, whatever. It don't matter. If she starts something, she walk straight, go to the laundry, start washing laundry, start doing all this stuff. Like, do you have to really do all of that before you eat a dinner? Before you do this? She does. She's back there now saying, "Yeah, I do." And now I realize that's what she does. She's not wrong for doing that. It's a good quality, really. I'm like, and then what is it doing to me? It ain't hurting me. Sometimes it's helping me. So my expectation is like, I can't have an expectation of like, oh, she need to learn how to sit down. She need to learn how to calm down. Sometimes she do, I think, but at the same time, I'm like, who am I to say what she need? Hey, who she ain't heard me? She want to go watch laundry because I'm gonna be in the room eating. I'm gonna be in the room watching TV or doing something for at least 30 minutes. And so I don't get disappointed by when she does things because that's who she is. And who am I to say she can't be who she wants to be and does what she want to be? She's a grown woman. She's not my child. So, but I know it puts a confidence in me. Like God never leaves a job undone. I know when I tell my wife to do something or ask something with her, she's not gonna leave it undone. That puts a faith and a thing in me where I'm not disappointed because because I know when I tell her she I can put more stock and expectation in her because I know she's not gonna leave a job undone. And if I could do that with my wife, how much more with God? God says he'll never leave a job undone. If he starts something, he's gonna finish it. Philippians 1:6. Let me read it real quick. This is simple. I'm gonna move over to the next thing because this is nothing deep. It's just what it is. Philippians 1:6 saying, being confident of this very thing that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. Meaning God said, I've never started a thing and not finish it. And when you have somebody that never will get things done and never leave something undone, and they're consistent in that, then you can raise your expectation. You can put your stock in that person. You can put your stock in the team. If you are a gambler, I'm not gonna talk about gambling, whatever you might say, it's the devil, whatever. I don't know. I don't sports bet, but even though I love sports, but at the same time, if it's a team that wins consistently every week and they perform consistently every week, I would be more willing to put my stock in them. I might throw a 20 or $40 at them, because they're reliable. They don't leave the job undone. They leave it all out on the field. I can trust them. I see that, mom. When he was playing basketball, I cheer you up. God never leaves a job undone, though. He never leaves it undone. He always gets it done. And when somebody gets it done, after a while, you just don't even think about it no more. Matter of fact, people like my wife, you often have to watch yourself taking them for granted because they always do things to get it done. And then you go start expecting them to do it, which is not a reasonable expectation. Just because somebody is reliable and consistent doesn't mean that you're entitled for them to do it consistently all the time, and you don't do nothing. And we all do it, but we have to get better at that. But people build a faith in you, and they put stock in you when you are consistent in your ways. You consistent, and you never leave a job undone. You want the promotion on the job? You mad because they didn't give you promotion? Are you consistent? Have you shown your ability to be consistent? I know a lot of you may have, and sometimes you're not treated fairly. You're not given what you deserve, and it's disappointing. But at the same time, you got to make sure you're living up to to stock in order for people to have a certain expectation of you. So the confidence of knowing that God will never leave a job undone. That whatever He starts, He's gonna finish it. I can roll with that, and I can be like, we good. I'm good, cause God got my back, and He ain't gonna never leave nothing undone. If He start taking me somewhere, He ain't gonna say I'm take you here and then leave you out and put you out the car in the middle of the street before you get there, and say make your own way the rest of the way. I don't have no more gas, or He just kick you out of the car. Say I'm taking you as far as you can go. That's what people will do. They'll say I've done as much as I can. Bye, and they'll leave you hanging. God doesn't never leave in the middle of a job. He finishes the job. Whatever He said He was gonna do, He's gonna do it. And like I said, at the end of the day, He's not even capable of lying. I didn't say he lie or what would he lie, but not, He's not even capable of it. If He wanted to lie, because of His essence of who He is and His character, and because of His holiness, He's not capable of lying. If He wanted to lie, He couldn't lie. That 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 just gives me hope that I'm with the right God. I'm serving the right God, the one that can't fail me. He never fails. He'll never let me down. And then when things are going bad, He's working them on for my good. And when He says for my good, that means permanent. He's not just making it good, He's doing it for my good, which means or for good. It works together for my good, or it works together for good. That's what the Bible says, actually. It works together for good, not for my good. That's different. For good means when I do this, it's never gonna happen again. When I reverse a thing, it's reversed and nobody can change it. Nobody can knock it out of gear because when I fix a thing and I change a thing, it's eternal. Everything that I do is eternal. I'm an eternal God. I'm not a temporary God. I don't come and fix things temporary. I'm not a band-aid God that when you cut your hand, I just put a band-aid on just for temporary, but I don't sew it up and put stitches in it and fix it for it can be permanently fixed. I'm not a God that's gonna leave you gashed with your head gashed wide open without sewing it up and fixing it permanently. But what we do is we want band-aids, just wrap it up with a band-aid, and then underneath, uh, your finger and your head all messed up. God said, "I'm a permanent God. I work things out for good. I mean, it's permanent. It's for your good and it's for good. Remember that." But He never leaves a job undone. Last one. God cares about your present and your future. He cares about your past. I didn't put past there because I think some of us are stuck so far in the past. That's our problem. I think God says, man, wherever you are at this moment, don't get so stuck in the past. Sometimes you have to go back to the past to deal with things that's happening to you in your life, uh, to get over hurts and pains and disappointments and things that happen in your life. But I think God is more, I don't think it, I know God is more concerned about your present and your future. He's like, where are you now? And where do you want to be? Or where are you now? And where is it that I want you to be? And He's concerned with getting you to your destination, getting you to the place that you need to be. Jeremiah 29:11, and then we're going to be done. Jeremiah 29:11. We made good time today. Jeremiah 29:11 through 14 says, for it's one of my favorite scriptures. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil. Meaning God says, man, I know what I think about you. It's not what you think. Sometimes we think God is disgusted at us. He's mad at us because of our unreliability or our triflingness. That's a word I made up. But we think that God doesn't care about us no more. He's not with us anymore because we messed up. We did things. We gotta understand we the thoughts that he has about us doesn't change just because we mess up, just because we fall short. God is consistent again. If anybody has to deal, I think the person that has to deal with disappointment would be Jesus or God, whatever you want to make. Back with the disciples when Jesus was on earth, Jesus was constantly disappointed in the disciples. Sometimes highly frustrated with this. He would go perform a miracle right in front of them, and then they would get and face something, and then they'd be questioning whether he could do it or not. If I'm with a dude, I saw him pick up a car, and then we get approached by some people trying to jump on us. I'm not gonna question whether he can take care of this situation because I've seen him pick up a car. I think he's strong enough to wipe out all these people, to do whatever he needs to do to protect us. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if that's the best example, but what I'm saying is like Jesus went through disappointment and frustration with the disciples all the time. But yet his mind towards them, his thoughts towards them never changed. The way the value that he had of them and what he deposited in them never changed. He was consistent. I still love you. I still know you got a call in your life. Peter did some crazy stuff, but he still was like, I believe in you, Peter. I'm frustrated with you right now. Why are you cutting out people's ears? Why are you doing these things you've done? Why are you opening your mouth when you should be quiet? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Disciples, why are y'all sleep? I need you with me now. Don't you see? I told you I'm about to leave. I'm about to die. I need my disciples to hang out with me just 1 hour. But y'all over here snoring and sleep. Jesus was disappointed. He was frustrated. He's like, can any of y'all stay up at least an hour with me? Sometimes you go through things in your life and you like, man, I thought they was my friend. At least to give me a phone call and check on me. At least say I'm praying for you. At least say something to me. And then we're disappointed because we put too much stock. Your friends never told you they're gonna be there every time you go through. Your friends never promised you a lot of things that you're expecting from them. Sometimes your friends just as broken and messed up as you are, and you sitting there waiting on them to come help you. Both of y'all legs broke. What two people with both of their legs broke go do for each other? Can't none one of y'all bring each other no soup. If both of y'all, when I had the COVID, if I had COVID and somebody that didn't have COVID, we could do nothing. I mean, two people that have COVID, we just sat. Me and my wife, we was in the room, both sick. Wasn't much we could do for each other, but sit in the room with each other. If we needed something outside of the room, we need something really done. We needed other people to help us. But when people don't 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 allow your expectations to make you so disappointed. You like you should know they never told you I'm gonna be here every time you get sick. I'm gonna be here every time you get disappointed. I'm gonna be here every time you need help. I mean, I've been friends with people, but I ain't never had a friend that say every time your house get dirty, I'll be there to help you clean it. Every time this happened, I never made them kind of promises. But I guarantee you, a lot of people got disappointed in me for things that I never promised them. And I'm totally incapable of providing because we put them expectations on people, and then we mad when they don't live up to them. I'm like, they, you know, if somebody show you that they're a fool when they act a fool, why are you flinching? Why you like, oh, I'm so tired of them acting a fool. I expect them to do better. They need to do better. They too old for that. All that don't even matter. They done showed you they're a fool. So when they act a fool, just let them act a fool, and you go your separate way. And don't miss one minute of sleep over them act a fool. Like I say, when the cat meow, when the dog bark, I'm not losing no sleep because I expect them to. Now, if I'm in the bed sleeping, my wife start barking, that's a bad visual. But my wife start, then I'm gonna be a concern because she's not supposed to bark. That's a bad. I don't want to compare my wife to a dog, but that's a good example because she's not a dog. So I guess it does make sense. But anyway, you get the picture. Uh, so, but if somebody doesn't supposed to do something and they're supposed to be one thing, then you're shocked. Then you gotta like, oh, you be alarmed. But a lot of times we're alarmed by people that's doing what they've been doing forever. You know your Uncle Willie been food for all your life. You know he been the way that he was been all your life. You know your brother been away, he been all your life. Your sister been away, she all her life. And when they do stuff, you sitting there all mad, posting on Facebook about how they made you mad, how your feelings hurt, and we go through all these different like, be quiet, because they already told you who they were. So it's like this is what I expect from you until you show me different. And that's how we have to be. And we'll stop having so much disappointment. We'll minimize the effects that it has on our life. Because if you don't, you'll be hurt the rest of your life. And you'll never be able to move on. Never be able to move on. So God cares about your present and your future. He cares about your life. He said, my thoughts towards you, as I close, my thoughts towards you, Lord, are thoughts of peace and not of evil. I want what's best for you, to give you a future and a hope. I want to give you something to hope for, even when life is full of disappointments, even when life is not working out the way you want it to be. I want you to have hope. And I want to give you something that you can put your hope in. One time God told me my life was going all over the place. And I was like, man, I'm tired of being on an emotional roller coaster. I'm tired of being up and down. Sometimes feel like a nut, sometimes I don't. I don't want to live like that. God said, put your trust and your expectation in me. If you do that and learn how to understand that God is the only stable thing that you have in your life. Everything else is unstable. Everything else is uncivilized. Everything else is unreliable because it's only temporary. These are temporal things. Put your trust in something eternal, something that has a track record of never failing. It'll never let you down. And the only person who can do that is God. And so put your hope in him. Put your trust in him. And know that he wants what's best for you. He said, then you will call upon me, not your friends. Every time you get in trouble, your cell phone won't be the first thing you pick up, but you'll look up to God. And he'll say, you'll call me and you go pray to me, and I will listen to you. Some of us, we tell everybody our business on Facebook. We tell our friends. We call our mama. And it's okay. Everybody needs people in their life that they can call sometimes, that they can vent to. All of us need that. I don't care how deep you think you are, how much Jesus you think you got in your heart. We need each other. We need people. But he says, man, your first thing ought to be to call him. Call him. Not even your husband, not even your wife, because they're gonna let you down. They love you, but they're gonna let you down. I promise you they will. Let time keep passing by. He said, you'll call me and I will listen to you. He said, I'm gonna listen. I'm here ready for you. I'm gonna help you. And then he says, when you search for me with all your heart, when you put all your stock in me, you start seeking me fully, you won't be disappointed. He said, I will be found by you, says the Lord, and I will bring you back from your captivity. Wherever situation that you're in, I'll get you out of it. I'll help you through it. I'll help you navigate through the storm and the rain. And I will gather you from all the nations and have all places where I've driven you, says the Lord. And I will bring you to the place which I caused you to be carried away captive. Otherwise, I'll get you to the place that you need to be in your life. And I'll put you in places that you thought was going to kill you, and I'll bless you. The place where you were held captive. Sometimes God take you to a place where you're held captive. You're like, God, why you allow me to be held captive? He said, because in this place of captivity, I'm going to release something in your life that I couldn't have released in your life with you being free. I need you to understand and see that I'm here for you, and I'll rescue you. I'll watch over you. My grace is sufficient. You can't learn all of that when you're not in captivity. Sometimes you got to be in captivity to understand the delivering power of God, the healing power of God. And a lot of things you're going through right now is for God to show you who He is. And you ought to thank it. He giving you an opportunity to show you who He is. That's how God says, give me opportunity. I'll show you who I am. You just got to give me a chance. Same thing with people. They're telling you the same thing. Give me a chance and I'll show you who I am. I'll prove myself to you. You know, you can love people, but trust is earned. And that takes time. All right. I hope y'all learned some of this, and I hope it helps you deal with some of the pain of disappointment. Because, like I say, disappointment has been a Achilles heel for me. I'm being honest, being disappointed. But a lot of times it was my own fault. It wasn't the fault of nobody else. And mainly not disappointment at what other people did to you. Disappointment in other people. Just disappointment in yourself. Knowing that you could have did better. Knowing that you can do better and not doing better. That's a hurt within itself. But you have the ability, and God wants what's best for you. And I pray that God heals you from all your disappointments. I pray that God heals from relational disappointments, all the different disappointments you've been through, no matter what area of your life has been. I pray that God begins to heal you from it and navigate you out of that pain into your destiny, into the place that you need to be in. And God will do it. And just give it time and give God a chance. And God will make you whole. Love you guys. Praying for you. Keep praying for me. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. Y'all have a good night and be blessed. All right.